This is a story about a man you've probably never heard of. One of the biggest catalysts and pioneers for U.S. soccer. His name is Paul Kennedy. This is his story.
I was born and raised in the New York area. I was born in Queens, New York, and raised in a town called Tuxedo Park, New York. And as a kid, I always loved sports. When I was 7 years old, I went to my first baseball game to see the Mets. And so from a young age, I was always interested in statistics and sports. I can remember as a kid, the kids on the bus would ask me what the Mets players' batting average was, and I was just third grader and could tell everything there ever was about sports. Soccer is a sport that's a national sport in just about every country in the world, and by following soccer in a country, you can learn a lot about a country, its social situation, its politics, its relationship with other countries in the world. I could talk to someone for 5 or 10 minutes from pretty much any country and become their best friend because I could converse about the best players in their country, the teams in their country. When I was in college, I had an opportunity to get an internship in France. But to do that, I had to make sure that my French was good enough, which it wasn't. And so I would go to New York to a newsstand where I discovered a French magazine called France Football, which covered soccer. And again, it was something where as soon as I picked it up, I realized there's this whole new world I discovered about soccer, with coverage from all around the world, Africa, Europe. And I became interested in soccer more and more. And it's something where in college, I started writing for Soccer America about soccer where I lived, which was in upstate, where I went to college, which was upstate New York. And then when I got out of college and right before I went to law school, I started writing in French for France Football about soccer in the United States, and have continued to do that for 30 plus years. It was something where I became, little by little, an expert about the sport at a time when there really wasn't anybody following it that closely. Soccer was just taking off in the 1970s and 1980s when I was in my 20s, and I became very knowledgeable about it. I went to law school in the University of Richmond, Virginia. I practiced law for 3 years, but always had this interest in soccer. Then I can remember one time at night I was sleeping and woke up early in the morning and I had the radio on. And on Sunday morning the local rock station would have these talk shows. And they had this segment where the person was talking about how if you wanted to be happy in your business, you should find something that you're really interested in. And if you can find something that no one else is in, you can really be happy and you can thrive. And it's something where later on, I'm not sure whether I just dreamed that or whether I actually heard that, but it's something that really struck me and proved to be very true. Soccer America was founded by Clay Burling, who was a State Farm insurance agent in Albany, California. He founded it in 1971 just as soccer was taking off in this country. So in that way, Soccer America played a very important role in the development of the sport in the United States. So today, soccer in this country, while still not as big as basketball or baseball, has grown a lot, and Soccer America continues today to play a role in that sport. At its peak in the 1990s, we probably had about 25 employees, and we've always been based in the Bay Area. As the internet hit, it changed our sort of reason for being and our focus. All the information that we provide that was impossible for people to find anywhere else was now readily available on the internet. So over time, Soccer America importance diminished somewhat, but the fact that we've been around so long, the staff grew in expertise, and in that way, we've remained sort of the senior experts of the sport of soccer. I've been the editor of Soccer America since 1985, so that means I've been here 33 years. Mike Waitala, who's our executive editor, has been here the same amount of time. He started as an intern when he was going to Cal here in Berkeley. Rich Mahoney's been here since 1987, so the three editors who continue to work at Soccer America have all been doing it for more than 30 years, which is basically all of our adult lives. The Hall of Fame for soccer inducts each year players, coaches, men and women who have been involved in the organization of the sport, but they also induct each year a member of the media who has worked in the promotion of the sport. In 1987, I was nominated for the award, the Colin Jones Award, for the Hall of Fame, and I was inducted in ceremonies in San Jose before a U.S. World Cup qualifier, at which two famous national team players were inducted, Brandy Chastain and Shannon McMillan. I found about my induction from Sunil Gulati, who at the time was president of U.S. Soccer, who called me on my birthday to let me know that I had been the recipient of the award. And it's an award that makes me very proud for the work I've done. The induction ceremonies that took place in March of 2017 are something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. I went to the World Cup in Italy. I went to the World Cup in South Korea and Japan. And the World Cup was here in 1994, which I went to a lot of the games too. Before the World Cup in 1994, I had a chance to work with Pelé on a project in which he was doing. He was a spokesperson for MasterCard, and they were putting on a program honoring the best players of soccer of all time. And I was on a committee in which Pelé worked, and we selected these players. And all these years to work closely with people who were involved in the promotion of the sport has been special. To have lifelong friends like Sunil Gulati, who was the president of U.S. Soccer. Today I still cover the U.S. national team, so I've had a chance to work with Landon Donovan and work with the players on the national team. Bruce Arena, who was a U.S. World Cup coach in 2002 and 2006, was someone I knew when I went to law school in Virginia. He was starting out as a coach at the University of Richmond. So many people in the sport are people who I've been involved with for many years, and even today, now their children are involved. Bob Bradley, who was a coach in Virginia also, his son Michael Bradley, in recent years has been the captain of the national teams.